It's good as always, Josh. Glad to be back.
Well, sorry about that, guys. I realized that there was little difficulties with my mic getting picked up. So, just saying, we're live here in sunny Southern California at AutoClub Speedway. You heard Nick in the background, but I am Josh Coppernoll, joined by Nick Dornick.
Hey, how it goes?
Going pretty good. So, 2-mile D-shaped oval here, AutoClub Speedway. 180 miles, 90 laps make up tonight's race distance. And so far, this season has just seen some incredible racing, and we've not seen a repeat winner yet. This is still early in the season. We could see one tonight, though.
Just as you mentioned it, we've had 4 races so far, 4 completely different winners. Each have had their own attributes of skills. Of course, with Daytona, we had, I want to say it was Derek Paulson.
Derek Paulson.
Sorry. Jacob Locklear, actually, the first winner. Benjamin. Oh, never mind. That's the standings. Oh, no. Off to a poor start. My apologies. Yeah, Derek Paulson being the winner at Daytona. Jacob Locklear winning at Las Vegas. Dalton Kilroy winning at Pocono. And Ben Lacey, your most recent winner over at Phoenix Raceway. And, of course, 3 of those 4 winners are all sitting in the top 5 in points, with Ben Lacey retaking the points lead over Derek Paulson. Dalton Kilroy just 5 points back. Brian Dees, first non-winner in the top 5, only 8 points back. And Noah Mayuri wrapping out the top 5 with 10 points back to the leaders. It's been a very tight points battle as of so.
Right here watching Caden Atkins, currently P1 on the board for qualifying. Noah Mayuri goes to the top of the board, but I expect Caden to overtake that position. And he does by 4/100ths of a second over Noah Mayuri.
Speak of the devil, Dalton Kilroy now atop of your points, on top of the qualifying leaderboards with a 40.322. It might be one of those tracks that's set him similarly to that of Pocono.
Yeah, and the thing about Pocono and Michigan is the only similarity you can take out of the two is Pocono is big, wide, and has very long straightaways. Auto Club here, it is 2 miles, so half a mile shorter than Pocono. Really wide and really long straightaways. Austin McGill goes to P4.
Oh, it appears we have a new leader in the qualifying standings as Bridger Olson in the number 02 now taking atop the leaderboards with a 40.316. Bridger Olson has been a very fast qualifier so far this season, currently taking 2 poles for the previous 4 races. Maybe he's going for number 3.
Zach Amon on track right now. Completed his first lap. Was not a fast one. 11th out of the 11 drivers so far, but usually a lot of drivers, they like to take their first lap as their throwaway lap, kind of warm up those tires. We'll see here if that is the case for Zach Amon and how much he's able to improve here. Coming off turn 4 on the front stretch for Amon. And P5.
Of course, Zach Amon, last week's longest lap leader for sure. Definitely using the long run to his advantage here. Maybe this is a preemptive cursor to what kind of pace he has in store, and you know, maybe that long run comes up tonight, and he puts it back up in front.
Robert Lukens goes to P3. Noah Mayuri does not improve his second lap times P8 for Noah Mayuri.
Spread across the 13 who have qualified, only 4/10. Again, the crowd, the field has been very tight this season, Josh.
It really has, man. These guys have been super close in their racing, and when it looks like they might cause a wreck, they usually don't. These guys, super clean, super quick as well, and showing their lap times pretty close here in qualifying. Brian Dees on his first lap of qualifying through 1 and 2. Drifting up what I would think would be a little bit too wide off turn 2. Maybe trying to get as much speed as possible in his first lap.
With Brian Dees being the first non-winner in the top of the points standings. However, part of the dominating performance that is MF Racing Design's team championship, as they currently hold just a 6-point lead over Peak Performance Motorsports. But Josh, we have 3 of the top 5 drivers in the point standings are all on the same team.
It's really showing the teamwork that goes through in between the race days and how much the team practices together, how similar they are, and it's really paying off for them. Brian Dees goes up to P3. A 40.37 for the 17 machine. And so far, only one more driver that is out on track. Derek Paulson currently sitting P15 on the board. 5/10 behind pole. See if Paulson's able to improve and where he goes. P3.
Just like that, similar to the point standings, running 2, 3, 4 in a little bit different order. MF Racing Designs, Dalton Kilroe, Derek Paulson, and Brian Dees are going to sit 2, 3, 4 on the starting grid. Bridger Olsen going to have to rely on his own set of skills to make sure that he can hold the lead in these opening laps.
So far, just under 2 minutes left in qualifying. Drivers that have not taken a time is Nick Akiye, Jacob Locklear, and Blaine Sparling. And I don't expect them to go out. Maybe they might surprise me and go out very quickly, but so far it is Bridger Olsen currently sitting up top the qualifying speed charts. 6/1000ths of a second, Nick, over Kilroe is Bridger Olsen.
For sure, and that could just be a matter of throttle or brake input that makes that much of a difference. Even a single percentage can be a tenth if you put it in the wrong spot.
It's all about throttle management and yeah, I mean, just how much these guys get into the corner, get out of the corner, and it's all. It is a lot more than just going fast and turning left.
As much as we wish it wouldn't be sometimes, as much as we wish it wouldn't be.
That is for sure. The motorsport is very fun, very complex, and that's what makes it very entertaining. Qualifying comes to a close. Nobody else will top Bridger Olson, tonight's pole winner in the Red Sim Design 180 at AutoClub Speedway. Let's go ahead and look at our qualifying order. Starting on the pole, of course, Bridger Olson, P2, Dalton Kilrow. Derek Paulson going to start in third, Brian Dees, P4, and Robert Lukens, P5.
Starting on the third row outside in P6, it is your current points leader of the Slide Jawb Racing League, Ben Lacey. Starting seventh, that'll be the number 2 of Caden Atkins. In P8 will be the number 21 of Austin J. McGill. Starting ninth, number 54 of Zach Amen. And rounding out the top 10 will be the number 8 of Noah Mayuri.
Starting in 11th is going to be Anthony Marshall. 12th for Zachary Wareham. 13th, Christopher Bassinger. 14th is Chris Dean. And 15th, Michael Thorpe Jr.
Starting in 16th, and your first of your non-qualifiers, we got the number 59 of Blaine Sparling. In 17th, we have the number 84 of Jacob Locklear, and rounding out the field, the number 9 of Nick Akie. 18 drivers, 9 rows of action. Who's your pick to win this race?
Oh, man. It's tough. Really, it's tough with these guys, but you know what? I'm going to go with... I'm going to go with Derek Paulson. I think Derek Paulson has the ability to get it done tonight, and he starts P3 as well, so already pretty good track position for that number 6 machine. I think Derek Paulson is who you're going to see in victory lane.
A repeat winner. I like the call. I think I'm going to follow you up on that, except I'm going to go with one of his teammates. I'm going to go with Dalton Kilrow. I think he gets it done tonight. I think he's the second-time winner of the Slide Jawb Racing League.
Couple of strong picks out of both of us. I'm ready. 90 laps, 180 miles. This track is one of my favorites on the schedule, and we're ready. Pace car is in. Bridger Olson waiting for the green flag. There it is. Green in the air. Dalton Kilrow. Great restart, great start on the outside, staying even with Bridger Olson.
Moving to turn 1, they're already sliding out. One way up into the walls. They go 3-4 wide behind them. It looks like Bridger Olson is going to manage it. Yeah, we got someone riding the wall all the way through 1 and 2. I
believe that was Austin J. McGill that was making some moves up near the wall.
McGill definitely not afraid to get up to where the crowd does not go. Of course, he made some late charges last week, trying to make his way back up into the front row. Oh, it's a little tight in the wall.
Bridger Olson leads lap 1. Dalton Kilrow trying to keep him within striking distance.
course, this track, the real-life race, having a similar sort of deal. The low line coming into effect as everyone gets back up to speed. But once those tires start warming up, you're going to start seeing them ride the high line. The high line, I believe, will be the fastest line tonight as we start to dip into the sunset.
It's another interesting thing I'm excited to see is Dalton Kilrow goes to the outside of Bridger Olson, trying to take that lead away. But as I was going to say, is real life NASCAR does not race under the lights at AutoClub Speedway anymore. And in sim time, it's 7:39 local time. We are going to go into the evening, or it is the evening. We are going to go into the nighttime. I think it's going to be very exciting.
Very exciting still. 2 rows of 2 up front as Brian Dees making the push to Dalton Kilrow to try and clear on the outside. Almost having to back right off. McGill nearly got to the back. Brian Dees pushed his teammate up through there. Of course, MFRD are surrounding Bridger Olson, not allowing him to kind of move anywhere he wants. The team aspects showing very early in this race.
Just a look at the field from above, staying super close. This is for the lead as Brian Dees trying to get to the back bumper of Dalton Kilrow to give him a shove down the front straightaway. Bridger Olson just doing a great job rolling that bottom.
He's definitely on it, keeping Kilrow honest. Kilrow did lead that lap, and he's leading ever so slightly. Of course, the advantage of having a couple more teammates lined up, also a couple more drivers lined up, allowing him his momentum to ride around the outside. I've noticed the only guy into the high line, still Austin J. McGill. Sorry, my mistake. That's actually number 77 of Zachary Wareham is the one riding the highest line right now as they start to dip into that 2 abreast. Make that 3 abreast as Bridger Olson, Derek Paulson, and number 17 of Brian Dees going side by side there.
They're trying to push 4 wide, but currently 3 wide. Bassinger up top, McGill in the middle, and Ben Lacey rolling the bottom. Lacey backing out of it through 3 and 4. Oh, maybe a little bit of contact there between number 2, Caden Atkins, 77 of Zachary Wareham.
There's a couple lanes coming together as they start to spread out more and more. Starting to get into that high line range. Zachary Wareham still working the top. I'd be very curious to see this early on run if he can make any spots up there, or if he's going to have a little bit more tire come the end. But we'll guess we'll be left to see as we head into turn 3.
I am interested to see here as the run does go on. You know, how high does that groove move up? I know you said earlier you expect it to move up, and we are seeing a lot of guys roll in the middle. I'm wondering if they get right up next to that wall and really stay running right there close to the wall. Let's see Locklear running as high as I've seen anybody run. Just as I say that, Wareham goes to about that 4th lane through 3 and 4.
Of course, as you can see, they're still getting dicey back there. The top 3 have been able to break away a slight bit, so now it's 4th through 16, all within a second and a half of each other. That is definitely not a pack you want to be stuck in when you're trying to kind of get yourself into a groove so that you can, manage your tire wear. They're still trying to dice out positions, and I don't know if any of them are really sitting happy right now. The only guy that seems to be content with his position might be Ben Lacey, kind of shuffling back and forth between the 10th and 12th spot.
And to add to your point, a couple of things to note is this track surface is old. It is it wears on the tires. On the other hand, track temperature is cool. It is 67 degrees, which means a little bit more grip. So they're not going to be sliding around like they would if it's a hotter temperature. But with this track just wearing down on your tires, it's only a matter of time, and we already see a little bit of sliding going on. These drivers are not going to be able to run just all spread out and as close as they are like later in the run like they are right now.
For sure, I do expect to see some single file action to appear out maybe in the next 5 or so laps as we start to get into what appears to be a long run. Of course, only running a 70% fuel load, meaning they will have to pit more than once in order to complete this tonight's 90 laps.
On the other hand, while all this craziness is happening behind the top 3, Derek Paulson is right there, just behind Dalton Kilrow, and so is Bridger Olson. Bridger Olson, of course, starting from the lead, lost a couple of spots, but he has not allowed Kilrow and Paulson to pull away. Right now, these 3 are staying single file, and I'm wondering if this is kind of part of their plan, try to draft, work together to get away from the chaos behind. Or if Derek Paulson's eventually just going to try to pass Kilrow. If he's going to try to take the lead and lead some laps here.
I think that there's a little bit of a pact, per se, in regards to those top 3 just being content with where they're sitting. But it's working as we speak, as they've managed to pull over a second on Caden Atkins. Atkins, of course, leading the train of such, if not the massive crowd behind them, as they're still going 2, if not 3 wide, back with Zach Ahman and Jake Locklear. They have yet to settle. They're duking it like it's a short run.
One thing that I absolutely love about this track, Nick, is how wide it is. That allows you to run all these different lines, and that's a lot of the reason why this pack is just staying so close. Somebody might have just caught the wall there. Is that Austin J. McGill?
Yeah, it looks like some of the GG8 team squad members of the Amsoil Dynasty have been scraping the walls off of 2, off of 4, kind of just off of everywhere. Not sure if netcode's playing a factor into it, lying to us on the screen, or if they're really just getting as much suck as they can off that wall.
It's very possible that it might be netcode that's pulling his car into the wall, whereas it's not actually doing so. We are 3 wide here. Or was for a moment, as Zach Ahman is underneath Jacob Locklear. And they're going to be 3 wide. McGill was trying to come down the track. Ahman backs out of it. Now McGill's going to settle in behind Locklear.
For those who aren't settling, though, if we scrooch on back up front, we have Bridger Olson and Dalton Kilroy running side by side, as Derek Paulson is now comfortably sitting about 2/10 in the lead. It looks like the MFRD drivers are trying to break the draft off of Bridger Olson to force him to stay in that 3rd position. Derek Paulson scooting up, of course, to help Dalton Kilroy out there.
And the longer that these guys stay side by side, the quicker that's going to bring in Caden Atkins and company. As just look at that gap already closed down between Atkins and Olson.
Great job by Olson, though, bringing his teammate Caden Atkins back in with Peak Performance Motors. Of course, Ben Lacey, your championship points leader, sitting comfortably in that top 5 spot. Ben's been doing a great job in these early races to just be within that top 5 range. Of course, one of few drivers who have had multiple top 5s, so currently the most top 5s all season, 3 of the 4 races. He's just been having a really, really strong effort at the beginning of the season.
This league is full of a lot of talent. It's not been predictable so far at all, with all the different winners that we have had so far, and nobody really just absolutely dominating races. This race, 18 laps in, still 5 cars deep under a blanket for the race lead, and Ryan Dees and Christopher Bassinger look like they're about to join the picture in just a couple laps.
Does look like that. Again, Dalton Kilroy falling a little bit further back, now sitting in 5th position. I am curious, his long run speed at Phoenix had a little bit of degradation to it. Wasn't able to manage the tires too well. I am concerned that he might have used his stuff up a little bit in this first run.
Look at Ben Lacey making a move under Bridger Olson, at least trying to. He is underneath that 0-2 machine. Doesn't have the speed off the corner that he would have hoped. Derek Paulson kind of running a little bit of a lower lane, maybe helping Lacey with the draft. Ultimately, Lacey not able to stay to the inside of Bridger Olson entering turn 3.
Of course, Ben Lacey and Caden Atkins came from that second group of drivers who are all relatively under a blanket still, so for them to still have some tire life left that will be able to compete with Paulson and Olson is great to see that they were able to save their stuff up.
Bridger Olson taking the lead, and they are 3 wide for second. Paulson up top, Atkins middle, Ben Lacey down on the bottom. Is anybody going to give here? Ben Lacey does. Caden Atkins now rolling the bottom right up against that white line. And Atkins going to slide up in front of Derek Paulson. Going back to your point, Dalton Kilroy, he has lost the top 4 and is about to be under attack from Brian Dees and Christopher Bassinger.
Yep, it's usually that first run. You know, it's best to test out exactly what kind of stuff you got, what the setup's going to be asking for, especially with the conditions cooling down, how the car's going to react. It looks like the bottom lane's still been pretty active, but you've been able to make some moves in the middle and the top as well. So you definitely have abilities to move the car around. But it looks like Dalton might have just used a little too much keeping up with Olson and Paulson before Atkins and Lacey were able to get back up to them.
Still battling very heavily here. This is for 8th place. Robert Lukens and Zach Amon rolling top line, trying to get around Michael Thorpe Jr.
Of course, Michael Thorpe has been very quick in most of these races. Just unfortunate luck not going his way. Only one top 10 currently on the season. When his pace shows, he's got much more in the tank.
Jacob Locklear rolling to top line very well, trying to get around Amon. Locklear is going to be able to get to the outside and have a huge run down the back straightaway.
Sure, trying to connect with the Peak Performance Motors guys, trying to keep up with his GGAM's Oil Dynasty as he's locking right back in. Austin J. McGill and Michael Thorpe trying to get around and break free of this little pack battle down here So we got Blaine Sparling down to the far inside, gonna left and let them through.
They were 4 wide for a brief moment just before that, and looked like they were trying to go 4 wide again. So I don't really blame Blaine Sparling for backing out of that. He wanted no part of what was about to happen. Back up front, Ben Lacey underneath Caden Atkins. Lacey currently with the draft on Bridger Olsen. Lacey gonna clear Caden Atkins. See if Lacey has anything left. Go after that 0-2 Bridger Olsen. Derek Paulson after leading some laps, currently P4. Possibly his car might be falling off a little bit as this run goes on.
Yeah, either falling back a little bit from pushing a little too hard, or he's just maintaining with the group ahead. Of course, Olsen, your pole sitter, now back to the lead. Ben Lacey has just been sitting content, as it seems. Caden Atkins trying to find Lacey's right rear to maintain control and maybe make a pass on him. See, looks kind of low, high, and just where anyone else, where Ben Lacey's not.
Ben Lacey looking underneath Bridger Olsen. Going into turn 3, Lacey not going to be able to get to the inside of Bridger Olsen. As Olsen closed that hold pretty quickly.
You know, these top 4 have been able to break away quite significantly from 5th place. Just over a 3-second gap now to Brian Dees with that pack of Christopher Bassinger still hunting him down. Dalton Kilroy sitting right there. It's been they've been doing quite a good job in that single file line, especially with a longer run, sitting at lap 27 now. The question comes to, when do they come down for fuel? And our tire is going to be as big of a factor because they've been able to run that low line and gap those who are behind.
Side by side for P2. Caden Atkins rolling the high line. Trying to clear Ben Lacey. Not quite able to do it down the front straightaway. Ben Lacey with the run through 1 and 2. See if the momentum from the high side of Caden Atkins is able to help him clear Ben Lacey. It doesn't look like it. It is very close.
Yeah, Caden Atkins and Ben Lacey, no bad blood between them, but definitely have seen their fair share of each other on the racetrack. It seems like they're inseparable at times, but they've both had some solid starts to the season. Caden Atkins currently sitting at 10th in points, with definitely looking for some better results. Definitely could use this top 5 as well in order to add a second one to the season.
Nick Akie starting off pit sequence. Gotta wonder if this is a scheduled pit stop for that driver the 9 Ford.
Yeah, it looked like Nick Akie he has not disconnected, but he did roll a little bit far. He was running the highest line possible last time we checked on him. Maybe he's got a little bit of tire wear going on, but either way, tough race, tough night for the number 9.
Michael Thorpe Jr. and Anthony Marshall coming to pit road as well. Pit sequence is here, it appears. Akie still down pit road as Thorpe and Marshall come to a stop in their boxes. Derek Paulson coming down pit road. First one from the top 5. Bassinger, Dees, Lukens, McGill all down pit road as well.
Appears that they're all looking for the full fuel and 4-tire stop. Looks like they're planning on maybe making it all the way in regards on tire life, but who knows? Maybe some others will come down for another set of 4 later on.
Your top 3 not coming in. As these two still battling side by side. Caden Atkins, Ben Lacey. I think with this tire length or life on their tires, the amount of laps that they have ran, this is something Bridger Olson would like to see. You guys keep battling side by side. I'm just going to run my line, pull away from you guys. As it appears, Olson, Atkins, and Lacey all going to come down pit road. Lacey with a great entry.
Yep, definitely seemed looked like he might have been the last of the 3 to think about pitting in. I think he wanted to go an extra lap, but when Olson and Atkins called out their stop, I think Ben Lacey took the audible and took the outside line to try and get a little bit more of a run on Bridger Olson coming into the pits.
So everybody has either come down pit road or is down pit road right now. Curious to see where Paulson's going to cycle out. If he's he should be able to clear these guys. They're still in pit road, rolling on the exit now. Paulson will have a sizable lead. He might not. Bridger Olson almost to the back straightaway. I think Paulson's going to clear him.
Well, it's going to be fairly close getting up to speed. Bridger Olson making a little bit of block. Paulson's going to have to dive deep in the inside into 3 in order to maintain the lead coming off of pit road.
Paulson does take over the spot from Bridger Olson, so this is your race leader, Derek Paulson.
Derek Paulson, of course, being one of 3 drivers yet to fall out of the top 10 in a single race. Currently running on a 4 race streak, top 10 finish.
Four laps down, 56 to go. And we're going to do one of my favorite segments, Turn It Up. Derek Paulson still the race leader here, just leading over Bridger Olson by 0.2 of a second. Coming to 40 laps in the race here at Auto Club. The Red Sim Design 180.
Of course, this is sponsored by Red Sim Design. Red Sim Design is a local iRacing livery creator. If you are in need of any NASCAR or touring car-based designs, go over to the website at www.redsimdesign.com, send out an email form, and our local driver, local racer actually, in this race, Blaine Sparling, will be in contact with you. Again, that is redsimdesigns.com or over on Instagram at redsimdesign.
And if Blaine Sparling is the creator of that paint scheme, I have to say that is a pretty cool looking scheme.
It definitely takes a lot to make pink or any sort of purple color really stand out and spark. It's as he's running in 12th position right now, facing down Michael Thorpe Jr.
Bridger Olson right there behind Derek Paulson, looking to the inside. They're going to be side by side. Paulson all the way against the wall. Olson all the way against the apron. And Olson led that lap.
Bridger Olson and Derek Paulson have been inseparable so far this race. Both have been pretty equal in regards of their abilities. It's been really interesting to watch. Ben Lacey only sitting 1.2 seconds back. Not sure if he's looking to initiate or just save his stuff. To those who are not saving their stuff right now, of course, it's that battle for 6 as Dalton Kilroy, Christopher Basinger, Zach Ament, and Jacob Lockley are all under the blanket.
It is surprising to see that after a long run and pit cycle later, you still have drivers. A lot of them at that, just battling so close, not able to pull away at all. You really have to be on your game tonight if you want to finish in the top 5. And right here, this is from 6th on back.
Sure, all 4 drivers have had brief moments of success, some more than others, of course. Dalton Kilroy winning at Pocono, but Christopher Basinger, Zach Ament, and Jacob Locklear all have been up front or won races themselves. Of course, Locklear winning Daytona earlier in the year.
Last week, Zach Ament looked like the favorite to win at Phoenix. Absolutely dominated that race. Just couldn't close the deal at the end of the race, as there was a lot of craziness that happened last week to finish off Phoenix. And late cautions and interesting strategy paid off in the end to allow the man Ben Lacey, who had a spin and win moment, spun from running up front early on in the race, came back, won at Phoenix Raceway.
Sure, and it just goes to show that is why he's your current points leader, sitting where he sits. Although with Derek Paulson running in second, that point gap is going to be very, very tight at the end of this race if they are to finish where they are. Of course, Paulson only 3 points back from Ben Lacey as we run.
We are just past halfway, so let's go ahead and talk here, Nick. How our drivers are doing that we picked. Of course, I'll go first. Derek Paulson, he was my pick to win. Already a win on the season. He started P3. Been running P2 most of the race, but did have the lead for a bit. currently chasing down Bridger Olson. But Derek Paulson still in a great position to have this race towards the end. Bridger Olson, on the other hand, done a great job at staying up front on longer runs. So it will be a little bit hard for Derek Paulson to get up there. This thing continues to go green, and we see a lot of green flag runs.
For sure, and my driver, Dalton Kilroe, just now getting by Brian Dees as Dees starts to fade back into the group of 4 charging behind as Zach Ahman sneaking up, trying to get a fender near him in order to make that position past of course, Kilroe, the second fastest MF Racing Designs car currently on track to Derek Paulson. His race has kind of been going similar to how Phoenix was, where in that short run, he's definitely got a little bit more burst of speed, but the long run, it looks like he fades just a tad bit. So far, managed himself into a top 5.
Not a bad night for either driver. Both our picks running in the top 5. Derek Paulson, of course, P3, as Ben Lacey was able to get by. Derek Paulson, just as you start talking about Dalton Kilroe. Bridger Olson, he's really started to put the heat on, and he is pulling away.
Digging into that 1 second gap now. Bridger Olson has been the class of the field so far. Has had a couple people kind of sneak around him when drafts more into play in order to keep their laps counted up. But so far, Olson able to battle back any sort of fight he's gotten and is starting to sneak ever so slightly on that list.
Go back to these guys here from Bassinger on back. Not too long ago, they were really close, nose to tail. Things have separated a bit. Now a gap between the drivers as I'm trying to close in on the 14 of Bassinger. So it has gotten calmer.
For sure, it's one of the things that AutoClub is definitely known for. It's once you kind of get that first green flag stop into fray, the next pursuing stops after that become very elongated, and you start getting a bit of comers and goers depending on how mentally tough you can be with staying and hitting your marks as much as you can. Of course, that's why the track is ever so slightly starting to see some lap drivers, as Noah Mayuri and Anthony Marshall both currently a lap down. The others are just starting to break away. You can really start to see who has been able to manage their tires in the weather aspect as well as the racing aspect around, as Zach Ahman sliding into the grass, just barely saving it behind Mr. Bassinger. Definitely going for a little ride there.
Let's see if we can look back at it. May not be able to.
Looked like he was sleeping at the wheel a little bit. You know, these long runs do occur that sometimes. You know, you're trying to just stay focused where you are. Sometimes you think you're in a little bit of a vortex, if you will, and you end up losing exactly what place on the track you are, whether it's a true straightaway or it's a little bit of that D shape. I don't know about you, Josh, but I'm really all about these long runs. I've always loved myself a type of race where it'll go X amount of laps in order to really really hone in on what you can actually do as a driver with the setup that you currently have. It really allows you to really feel how the car wants to move underneath you.
Yeah, I'm so used to shorter run races, and when you do get a long run like this, it can be a surprise to you if you are used to shorter short run races. A lot of official races are like that, depending on what split you are in, depending on your I rating, and you go into league racing, and a lot of times league racing could reflect how officials look. When you find leagues like this that drivers are very clean, they know how to race, and these guys, they know each other pretty well as well. This is season 9 of the Slide Jawb Racing League, so these guys, most of them have been here a long time. So when you get long runs like this, I think in a league like this, it may not be as big of a surprise. But for some drivers who just aren't used to this, this could definitely be a test as to how you control your car, how you set up, how you push your tires. You would think, I know you mentioned earlier that first run you can push your tires maybe a little bit, see how your car is going to handle. But if you're in that position where you were pushing early on, we've not had a caution to back you out of that hole. We have had green flag pit stop, and we're probably going to come close to another one here in just a few laps. If these guys cut the race into thirds, should be here in a couple laps when they pit again. But how these drivers push their tires from the first run, it's going to determine how their car handles the rest of the race or where you're running the rest of the race if you're in a long run like this.
For sure, you definitely want to try and, track position is everything, but if you find yourself being a little too greedy and you get stuck in a long run as such, you'll end up paying the price with not having the most competitive tire set to go the extra couple laps, and you might be forced onto an alternate strategy which may or may not work in your favor depending on what the overall attitude of the race environment is. And with these guys, with tonight, it's definitely been a much calmer approach so far. Nothing too sporadic outside the first 15 laps. Not a lot of questionable or ambitious moves being made. It's been a lot of give and take, and I think that's allowed for this long run to form as we're slowly but surely getting to the 2/3 portion of this race.
And right here, this is the closest battle on track. This is for 6th place. Zach Amman currently has P6. Christopher Bassinger wants it. Bassinger staying patient here.
Yeah, he's definitely trying to take advantage, maybe trying to get an undercut when it comes to the pit sequence, as it looks like we have some starting off with Nick Akie and Noah Mary and Chris Dean looking to start piling in. It's definitely one of those spots where you want to try and get that last little bit of your tire out before you're coming into pits. Of course, two drivers on two different teams. Zach Amman of Peak Performance Motorsports, Christopher Bassinger of GGA Amsoil Dynasty. Those two, of course, also trying to help out their teammates for the team championship, as Bridger Olson currently running the flagship of Next Racing.
3 drivers coming down pit road. Derek Paulson, Dalton Kilroe, and Brian Dees. All coming down pit road. The other cars you see on screen have been sitting on pit road for quite a while. Nicky Kie never coming out of pit road from when we saw him come down on, I believe it was lap 30. Derek Paulson. First one in, first one out. As Ben Lacey, Caden Atkins, and Zach Amon down pit road. And Michael Thorpe Jr. also coming down pit road.
Yep, with it being so close to the end, it looks like some of these guys are going to try and stretch to maybe lap 63, 64, just so that in the case of a greenway checkout, they won't have to come down for more fuel. Definitely a wise plan to do if you're planning for the worst. For Ben Lacey and others, they're deciding I think they're anticipating it to go green right to the end.
And it appears everybody is coming down. Bridger Olson, race leader, has come down pit road. It looks like McGill has stayed out. And Zachary Wareham also staying out. Bridger Olson is already rolling off pit road. Here is Derek Paulson. He started sequence. The driver's running up front. See if he's able to. Him and Ben Lacey. And they won't even be close to Bridger Olson, who is now entering turn 3.
Definitely a strong pit stop for himself. Bridger Olson getting to have that advantage once he gets back up to speed. It looks like we've had an unfortunate electrical issue for the number 2 car of Caden Atkins. It appears that he is disconnected from the session, and he will not be able to rejoin in time in order to stay on the lead lap.
Very unfortunate for him. Having a pretty solid race. Battle for second place. Derek Paulson running P3. He's had top 3 speed all race long. And I got to give credit here. Dalton Kilrow, of course, your pick to win. You know, looked like long runs might be a little bit of a struggle for Kilrow early on. Currently running P4. Having himself a pretty good race. And the car behind him is Anthony Marshall, so not even a car for position. The driver behind Kilrow, Zach Amon. See here, Kilrow is at the line there. And here's Zach Amon, so a long ways back. Kilrow has a great opportunity to save his tires. And see if he can hold on to P4.
Absolutely, it looked like he got a great drive off a pit road. No major mistakes, allowing him to open up that gap. I know he was going side by side with Brian Dees, who's currently locked in behind Christopher Bassinger for the 6th place spot. That was the last I'd seen his position. It looks like just at that very end, it looks like his run was starting to form back together. Kilrose, that is, and he's able to stay within that top 5 range. But as we focus on the 14 and the 17, closest battle on track, trying to draft each other in order to make moves up as we are under 25 to go.
Now, this race has gone by pretty quickly, and that's what happens when you have a caution-free race. So far, 66 coming to 67 laps complete in this race here at 2 Mile D-shaped oval Auto Club. The Red Sim Design 180.
And of course, if you want to get your own custom livery, hit up Blaine Sparling of Red Sim Design over at redsimdesign.com or at Instagram at Red Sim Design. He'll get you hooked up with your custom paints for officials, league races, or even some special events. Check him out, redsimdesigns.com. Speaking of Blaine Sparling, looks like he's finally made himself back into the top 10. Last time we hit him up, he was sitting around the 12th place position, so he looks like he benefited from Peyton Atkins' unfortunate disconnect, as well as some bone spots on pit road.
Blaine Sparling, rather. Trying to get around Michael Thorpe Jr. Not for position. Michael Thorpe Jr. 2 laps down. But Jacob Locklear, who is rolling just behind these 2 cars side by side, is on the same lap as Blaine Sparling. So Locklear trying to take position away from Sparling, but currently now there is a car in between Sparling and Locklear for the 8th position.
Of course, Michael Thorpe MTJ has been shown to be a bit more of an aggressive lap car to get around. They definitely have some speed under the hood. Just unfortunately, it looks like some positioning and maybe some errors have kept them from staying on this lead lap.
"20 laps to go here, and let's go ahead and do another quick turn it up.
And we are back at Auto Club for the Red Sim Designs 180. While we were on a little bit of a turn it up break. It appears that the number 59 of Blaine Sparling got a little bit of contact with the 34 of Michael Thorpe Jr. and is now out of this race.
Oh, wow. Let's see if we can get that replay again.
Coming down and grabbing a bit of that apron and just shot right up into the number 59.
That is very unfortunate.
Yeah, definitely a tough break for the 59 going through there. Having a great run in the top 10. Unfortunately, just grabbed the bad end of that cluster right there. And unfortunately is going to have to be finishing this race in the grandstands as we scoot on back towards our front runner, number 02 of Bridger Olson, as he's dealing with his own doing of lap traffic as they go 3 wide into turn 3.
And at this point, you do not want to see this if you're the leader. 2 drivers running side by side. Both of them not a lap down yet. They're both still on the lead lap currently. They have not been passed by Olson, Zachary Wareham, Robert Lukens trying to battle for 10th place as well as trying not to go a lap down. This could slow Olson down. Or this will slow Olson down, but it could potentially bring Lacey into the picture. 13 laps to go, coming to 12. 12 laps to go, 24 miles. Here at Auto Club. See just in the background a little bit there. That is Ben Lacey. As he is seeing this right ahead of him. Bridger Olson struggling to get around these lap cars.
Of course, while he is not putting a foot forward in order to actually get around, he was able to just slightly pull on Lacey with the draft help. Of course, Ben Lacey running in a little bit of a bubble of his own. No one really around him to get any draft help. So this might be a blessing and a bit of a curse for Bridger Olson as he's able to slightly pull away, but will be in the crosshair if either the 77 of Zachary Wareham or the number 20 of Robert Lukens were to get in contact with each other.
Olson trying to clear Lukens. It looked like he had Lukens clear. Lukens ran a great exit to get back by Bridger Olson. Olson once again diving it down deep into the corner. Robert Lukens right behind Wareham. Just trying to stay on the lead lap. 10 laps to go here. That time by, Ben Lacey was faster, but by only 1/100th of a second.
Yep, not having all that draft help in order to bring him directly to Olson is going to be the limiting factor on how quickly he can close up. But with the number 20 and the number 77 both fanning out, not really leaving Olson a true spot to want to play, it's going to be kind of stuck, still kind of stuck here, not being able to go anywhere.
These two are battling very hard. Lukens had gotten by Wareham. Wareham immediately went with the crossover move on Lukens down the front straightaway. Still not able to get back by Lukens. And now Olson rolling the top line. We'll see here. Olson is able to get by Wareham. And now looking underneath, Robert Lukens. Ben Lacey closing in ever so slightly. 8 laps to go, though. It's not going to be enough, I don't think, if he continues to run the lap times that he is. But now Olsen ahead of Lukens.
Yep, it definitely seemed like Zachary Wareham trying to do anything he can to try and help out his GGA teammates. Of course, I believe it's the sister team alliance trying to get that there, but with Olsen able to get by, he's had strong enough pace, so bearing no issues from any others, I think he'll be able to close this one out. He should be good on fuel. It's going to be down to fate.
Two drivers that last time by were able to turn a 41-second lap time. Bridger Olsen, a 41.775. Ben Lacey, a 42.085. So just seeing, Bridger Olsen still has a ton of speed, and as soon as he got by those now lap cars, immediately put the burners back on. And once again, a 41.7 out of Olsen. That is some serious tire saving.
For sure, for starting on the pole and only losing a couple, maybe like a dozen or so laps to other drivers, he has been able to conquer back every battle thus far and really just show everyone else what a long run speed truly is. Bridger Olsen, fast off the start, fast in the middle, fast at the end, as we have with 5 laps to go.
The only way that Ben Lacey's going to be able to close in at this point is if we do see a yellow. This race has been caution-free all night long. Very, very great race that we have seen so far. Four laps to go for Bridger Olsen.
Big thing that surprises me is that he's only having to come up to the middle off of exit. He never really had to experience that high line. I think the temperatures allowed it to stay nice and cool, allowing that low line to have as much grip as it has, and he's just managed it really well with not overdriving any or stepping out the car at all. And it's just been a phenomenal race for him.
We go back to P2, Ben Lacey. Good enough gap between himself and Derek Paulson to feel comfortable here. With the laps winding down, just a few to go. Currently 1.2 seconds ahead of Derek Paulson. Don Kilrow, I said, he had a great opportunity to save his tires and keep his 4th position. It's not going to be enough to close in on Derek Paulson, but Don Kilrow has done a great job.
That's for sure. All these guys have been doing a great job keeping their tires in as much of a piece as they can. Of course, we have they've currently lapped up to 10th place on the field. Jacob Locklear and Austin McGill currently fighting for 8th. Currently, the last 2 cars on the lead lap as Bridger Olsen is rounding turn 4 as we head towards the white flag lap.
And the white flag is waving, so this race officially caution-free all the way to the end. Bridger Olson going into 1 and 2 for the final time. Down the back straightaway, and he could just coast from here.
5 different tracks, 5 different winners.
Like, he's out of fuel, maybe? Nope, he's still good. He's just shaking it, celebrating. Bridger Olson, tonight's race winner. And the RedSimDesign.com 180. This is going to be a close one, but Zach Amon finishes in 5th place in a photo finish between himself and Christopher Bassinger.
Mighty push there by Zach Amon to take that 5th place position, rounding the outside, finally pushing up out there, just narrowly edge past Christopher Bassinger.
It's Bridger Olson. Gonna come to the front straightaway. And he's gonna start his celebrations.
Really a well-deserved win tonight. Bridger Olson making it the 5th different winner of the Slide Jawb Racing League Season 9. It surprises me, honestly. You know, it was 3rd pole of the season. It was only a matter of time before he was able to put one all together. And tonight was that night.
Little double burnouts with Olson and Amon. Olson now going to reverse to Victory Lane. Another one of my favorite things about Auto Club is Victory Lane is on the front straightaway. Very unique for sure. Before we get into interviews, let's go ahead and go down our finishing order. Of course, P1, Bridger Olson. P2, Ben Lacey. Finishing 3rd, Derek Paulson, Dalton Kilroe. P4, and Zach Amon, P5.
Narrowly missing out on that top 5, but finishing in 6th, the number 14 of Christopher Bassinger. Finishing 7th, the number 17 of Brian Dees. 8th, Jacob Locklear, number 84. In 9th place, number 21 of Austin J. McGill. And rounding up your top 10, the number 20 of Robert Lukens.
Zachary Wareham will finish P11. P12 goes to Noah Mary. 13th to Michael Thorpe Jr. Anthony Marshall finishing 14th. And Blaine Sparling finishing in 15th position.
The number 2 of Caden Atkins having an unfortunate disconnect will finish in 16th, 29 laps down. Finishing in 17th, number 48 of Chris Dean. And rounding out today's racers, the number 9 of Nick Acquier will finish in 18th spot. Josh, I believe you've reached up with 3rd place finisher of Derek Paulson.
Hey, Derek, 3rd place finish tonight. You finished right where you started, but led some laps. How was it there? closing out this race, knowing that you went all 90 laps, green flag. How was the arms feeling?
Oh, I'm tired. Actually, I've actually had some shoulder injury that I've been dealing with the last 2 months. So, but it doesn't feel too bad after this one. But yeah, these cars, they're a little bit different. I don't have much seat time in these cars, so I'm still learning the setups here a little bit. So I should have changed my steering ratio a little bit. I was steering the car way too much. Didn't really have a decent long run until that last 30 laps when I finally figured out how to drive the car. But yeah, third place with this group, especially me being new with this car. I'll take it.
So it definitely challenges you a lot to, drive these cars for so long without having that break other than a quick 14-second pit stop. Trying to make adjustments is a little bit difficult as well in car while you're trying to drive, and then make sure you don't speed on pit road. So how much of a mental focus is it in order to balance all of those things for the 180 miles that we saw?
Oh, we're lucky that this track is so big and it's got so much room. You get more time on the track like this to do that. Now, if we were at a shorter track or even a short track, trying to do all that gets to be very stressful. But yeah, race went pretty quick. It just shows how good the guys here race with each other. I know there was a couple incidents the way it sounded over the radio, but I think all in all it was a fairly clean race, and I'm glad to be part of it.
Absolutely a fun race to call as well. But before we let you go, who do you got to give a shout out to?
I got to thank the admins here at Slide Jobs. I got to thank you guys up in the booth. I'll definitely be going back to rewatch pretty much every week. I got to thank MF Racing Designs. If anybody out there wants to paint, check them out on Facebook at MF Racing Designs. I got to thank MFRD team here. I got to thank Dalton and Brian and Nick. And they're just the guys who showed up and had a good race.
Alrighty, well, congrats on the third place finish, and we'll see you next week.
All right, thank you.
And that was my pick to win, Derek Paulson, tonight's third place finisher. And we head on over to Nick, who has our runner-up, Ben Lacey.
And tonight you got up, you led some laps. Ultimately, it stayed green. You faded a little bit at the end, but all in all, your fourth top five finish this season, the most out of anyone so far in this early portion of the season. How was your race overall?
I mean, it was good. It was a little bit frustrating at times when there toward the end with Bridger. Looked like he had some drafting help with some lapped cars there. So even though they were kind of battling out, I just wasn't able to make any time on them because that draft was really strong. So that was a little frustrating, but it was good. Kept the car clean. Was able to work the way up. I think I started like 6th or 7th, somewhere around that range. So I was able to work up through and come up to a P2 and keep the top 5 streak going. So I'll take it.
Of course, also being one of 3 drivers now with 5 not to finish outside the top 10. You beating Derek Paulson means that you keep the points lead as we head into this All-Star break. What are your thoughts as you continue to try and hold up this championship?
Go for as many wins as I can get. That's kind of the name of it for me. If I keep going for P1, hopefully we'll be able to stay up in the top 5. Tough to get because there's a lot of good drivers. Derek's a talented one. Dalton, Brian. We got some guys in here that can drive. My teammates are all pretty competitive as well. So I mean, they're all shooting for it. So I mean, it's a competitive league in that way. So being consistent and going for the W's and making those calls when we can is, I think, kind of the key to moving forward and hopefully keeping the top spot.
Absolutely well said. Well, as we ship you off into this, again, congratulations on your second place. Who do you have to thank sponsor-wise?
First of all, the team GGA, appreciate them for letting me be on board. Amsoil, we got Filming the Wild. Appreciate them for what they do. A lot of nature, documentary, wildlife. They're actually going to have some stuff dropping tomorrow with Nat Geo on Disney Plus. So go ahead and give that some support. Go and watch it. So it's pretty cool to be a part of, and appreciate what you guys do here, Josh, Nick. It's a lot of fun to go back and watch, and all the admins here at Slide Jawb. It's a great time.
Awesome. That is your second place finisher. Not the dub, but still the points leader. Number 7 at Ben Lacey. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm down here, victory lane with Bridger Olson. Bridger absolutely dominating performance tonight. Started on the pole, led a lot of laps, and you ended up finishing right where you started, P1.
Yeah, it's nice to finally get that first win after so many poles this season. This was the first race that I actually had speed during the race and not just qualifying, so it feels good.
So absolutely long runs, no cautions tonight. What was just the mindset? Were you nervous there towards the end that a caution may come out and go right back to having short run race?
Yeah, long runs were definitely my theme today. I don't really. I was just in the zone all race. I got really scared at the end when I was trying to pass the lap cars because they were battling pretty hard, but it ended up working out.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you about that. So battling with Wareham and Lukens, it looked like Lacey really wasn't able to pull you in. So you said you were scared. Kind of what was the mindset? Did you just want them to, allow you to get on by? Was there any communications going on? What was going on during that time?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely wanted them. I wanted them to let me go, but also they're battling for position on a racetrack, so I can't really control what they do. But luckily, it didn't matter at the end.
All right. Well, who do you gotta give a shout out to? Who gets it done for you?
Yeah, thank you to Peak Performance Motorsports, B Speed, Marshall Newton for my car, and yeah, that's it.
All right. Well, congrats on the win, and we'll let you go celebrate.
Thank you.
And that was tonight's race winner, Bridger Olson. Absolutely dominating performance out of him. Let's go ahead and bring up our schedule. We see the All-Star race at Bristol Motor Speedway in 7 days. That is an absolutely interesting place to have an All-Star race. I know they did so in real life, and I actually was very fortunate to be able to go to that race. I think with the amount of talent these drivers have, and putting them at a short track like Bristol, I think the saying that DW has, where Bristol is like taking a bunch of fighter jets and putting them in a gymnasium, I think with that added pressure, it's going to be just that much more intense.
Sure. Bristol being the last great Coliseum as it is, and putting dirt down there with the talent that you guys provided, and with everyone seeming to have their own strengths in regards of 5 different winners. It'll definitely be something to see who reaches out there a bit more, and who knows how to put a right rear in something that isn't concrete or asphalt.
That's definitely gonna be one to look forward to. So that's gonna do it from us here at Auto Club. What an exciting race we saw. And actually, is there any final thoughts you have on this race and moving forward?
Yeah, it just goes to show that these guys can thrive in any sort of environment, whether it's a 2-lap shootout with a short green flag run, or to go the whole race without a single yellow flag interrupting. These guys are able to perform and race at their peak abilities no matter what circumstance. Bridger Olson, of course, leading 62 laps out of 90 tonight, really goes to show that he was one of the best, if not the best, long run car all night. No one really having much for him. So if we get that situation again, of course, after the Bristol Dirt Race, we have Homestead. That'll be another track where a long run could be prominent. He might just be able to climb back more points than he's able to tonight.
All right, well, that does it for us here on JCTV. You catch more racing action throughout the week. So we've got a couple more races to bring you this week. And as always, you can catch Slide Jawb Racing League here on JCTV Tuesday nights with qualifying starting at 9 p.m. So we go live a little bit before that, about 8:45 Eastern Time. So big thanks to the admins that put this league together, all the drivers, all the fans watching. Without all of you guys and the drivers, admins, this wouldn't be possible. So big thank you to all of you guys. Thanks to Nick Dornick joining me in the booth, as always. I'm Josh Coppernall signing off, saying stay safe and take care. We'll see you next time.